Well, hello and welcome back to my channel. It's the beginning of November now and the garden is still thriving. It's looking really good. So I've been having a think today and trying to decide some jobs that I can get done in the garden. And I was thinking about planting my Washingtonia out into the ground. I've had it in a pot now for 2 years. It got through last winter without any problems at all. And it's quite mild here, so I think it'll do pretty well in the ground. So let's go and have a look and see maybe where I can put it. This is the Washingtonia that I've had in the pot, and it's done really well. As I said, it got through last winter. It's got some new fronds growing on it now, even in November. And I've just got to find somewhere to pop it in the garden. The trouble is, I haven't really got an awful lot of space now in the garden. This year, everything is filled out. And I think, let me move this banana leaf, the only place that I can really put it is in this back border. A few weeks ago, I popped this acer here, and that's changing now into a lovely red colour. Behind the greenhouse, I've got this border here, and I've got a small olive tree and some bamboo. Well, I could really pop it here, because really I want something that's going to grow quite tall and just screen the neighbour's garden. So I want things along this back wall that's going to grow quite tall. So I'll have a little think about it and see what I decide to do. Tony has now varnished the new garden sign, so hopefully that'll withstand the British weather a lot better. I'd just like to say a massive thank you to everybody that subscribed to my channel. I'm now up to 700 subscribers, and just thank you so much. It means so much to me. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. This Washingtonia, it was so heavy to move. There was just no way that I could lift this up, so I had no choice but to drag it through the garden. These are also known as a Mexican fan palm. They hardy down to -8, and they need a bright, sunny, warm position with free draining soil. They're not terribly hardy, but they're worth a try in milder UK locations. I had to dig a really big hole, much bigger than I thought I needed to. We're very lucky here, we've got really beautiful earth. It's a really rich, dark brown. I also added some bone meal into the mix, just to give it that little bit of help in the root system. I'm hoping that by placing it against this back fence, and it is really in quite a sheltered location, that it will help to give it a little bit of shelter in the garden. I did leave it out last year in the pot, but I moved it towards one of the walls. It was really difficult to get it out of the pot, and some of those branches are so sharp, which reminds me, next time I go plant shopping, I really need to pick up a pair of new gardening gloves. I've got a pair of gloves, but they don't match, so I think it's time to invest in a new pair. I just underplanted with some begonias that I had just dotted around the garden. And these just filled up the spaces, and I'll use these until the first frosts arrive. They've lasted really well this year, and it's been the first time that I've grown any begonias. Such lovely flowers. Finally, time for a little bit of a tidy up around the garden, just to brush up all the earth that had come out of the pot when I dragged it through the garden. So I think now, at last, I'm finally getting somewhere with this back border. The Washingtonia is in. I've moved the olive tree slightly down a bit. Let's hope that's the last time now I'll have to move that olive. And I think now it looks a lot fuller than before. Should do quite well there at the back of the border, as it will get the sun in the spring and summer all the way through the day. Euphorbias love it here on this back fence. I've also potted up my violas. I've put 5 in this pot. I know they're going to grow, so I'm not sure if that's too many. But they have got little flowers on them already. Even though it's in November, the bananas are showing no sign of slowing down. And they're still pushing out new leaves. I'm not going to wrap these yet. The salvia are still blooming like mad, and you'd never think that it was November now in the garden. And the hot lips has just completely taken over this area here. I've also had to tie up these miscanthus grasses, as they're so tall now and they were starting to flop over onto the pathway. But I had a wooden stake, and what I've done is I've just tied them back with a piece of garden string, so hopefully that will keep them out of the way. I've also moved this GM Totally Tangerine into this area here between the roses, and this next year will grow into large, tall orange flowers. They're very delicate looking flowers, but it was tucked away in there, and you just couldn't see it next to the salvia. So I didn't realise this salvia was going to grow so tall, so it just had to be moved anyway, ready for next year. These miscanthus have grown so tall now, and look at the beautiful flowers on the top. They're so delicate. Even the begonias have a few flowers left in the garden. Thank you very much for joining me in the garden today, and see you all soon. Bye for now.